Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of SoTellUs Time, where we talk about everything business. My name is Trevor Howard. My companion on the screen here is Troy Howard. That is also my brother. I don't know if everybody knows that. Not everybody does know that. Some people are sometimes surprised. I am the younger brother, though I have a lot of white hair in my beard. I'm like, if I need to look younger, I definitely shave because we go places and people are like, oh, you're brothers. Who's younger? And I'm like, that is so rude. It should be obvious I'm younger.
That's
Goodness
why I
gracious.
don't have a beard, so I can look younger.
Exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, we're talking about everything business and we talk about everything that goes along with business. We have been in business for 27 years. We have never had a down year. We have always grown over those 27 years. We have helped companies bill hundreds of millions of dollars, and we have helped companies really grow. So what we like to do is share that knowledge. We have built several successful companies ourselves. We both own consulting companies as well. And one of the things we wanted to do was give back. We said, how do we share the knowledge that we bring to our consulting gigs and to our clients with more people? Because we remember back in the day, I remember when it was just Ron and I, and then Ron and I and Troy. And then we brought on our first employee, and there was the joys and fun of that. Let me tell you, and I'll just give you a little sneak peek of that. We were actually running the company out of Ron's house. And one day we came home from a meeting and that employee was in a bed asleep. So if you haven't experienced that, you haven't experienced employees yet. But we have lots of knowledge, and that's the whole point of this show is we wanted to give back. So all right, guys. Well, we have a really good episode for you today. We're talking about the silent power of micro moments. See, most business owners focus on the big picture, marketing campaigns, sales strategies, customer acquisition, but the real secret to building trust, loyalty, and repeat business lies in the tiny details called the micro moments. And you're going to love this episode. So I don't want to give away too much, but Troy, why don't you jump in here and I'll just shut my mouth.
All right. So what is a micro moment? It's that, again, like we said, it's that small, often overlooked interaction that shape the customer perception. So it could be like the way the phone is answered. It could be quick email follow-ups, getting back to clients very quickly. It could be just a smile, right? That your employees give to the clients when they're dealing with them. So these moments really matter, and they help build, they accumulate to create basically trust, loyalty, and repeat business.
And really quick, Troy, I want to say, I'll throw something in right off there because I loved what you said is a quick smile. And people might go, well, my employees are on the phone, right? I've got in-office people. What about them? We have always taught and trained our employees, smile while you speak. People can hear the difference. Oh my gosh, how are you today? Versus, oh my gosh, how are you today? It makes it, when you smile, it makes everything change. And so even your employees who are on the phone should be smiling while they're speaking to the client.
Yep, exactly. So again, some real world examples are like, you go to that restaurant or that bar and the barista remembers your name. Like that makes you want to go back there, right? Because it's like, oh, they know me, they remember me, or they remember my drink. It's, an auto reply that sets an expectation to the client instead of just leaving the customer in the dark, that's a really big one actually, is like a lot of times, we have these auto replies and things like that are just like, we'll get back to you as soon as we can, and they're very, like formal and not personable and anything like that. But, actually setting expectations so that they know when you're going to get back to them is really important. Or a handwritten thank you note after a purchase. How many times have you received a handwritten thank you note? After you purchase something? That's always crazy. I remember I went and spoke at an event And afterwards, like a week later, this package arrives and it was full of like brownies and cookies and treats and all these wonderful things, and a handwritten note that basically said, "Thank you so much for coming and speaking at our event. It meant so much to us and to the attendees." And I was like, oh man, I'm going to go. I'm like, the next time they ask me to speak, I am definitely going to make sure that I will be there for them, right? Because they made a difference, right? They took time to do something for us. I'll give you another example, like along with that. I remember we spoke, actually, I spoke at another event in Nashville. And rather than me getting a package, what I did afterwards was I actually sent a package to the person who put on the event. And we found out what they liked. And actually it was something I didn't know anything about. It's like kombucha or whatever, that drinking stuff. And I found out that they were really into that and that there's these special bottles made for it and all this stuff. So we ordered some bottles and sent it over to them, and like they immediately called us back and were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that. No, no speaker that we've ever had at this event has ever done that. Like that means so much. My wife was so impressed. She loves doing that stuff." And then I'll tell you what, every year after that, they were coming to us saying, "Hey, look, we want to have you be a speaker at this event. And, and we want to give you a great spot." Like they treated us so well because of that little micro moment that we created with them, right? Yep. So sometimes it can seem like these little tiny moments, but they can create emotional connections. So let's talk about, why there's this silent power with that. So customers rarely notice them consciously, but they feel them, right? These micro moments. A lot of times they're not going to be able to pick out exactly the moment of this is what they did, but they can kind of feel them. One of the things that we train our staff and my dad trained us to do is when you ask my dad, how is he doing for his entire life, it is sensational. And it's not just like sensational. No, he literally is like, when people ask, they're like, "Hey, Ron, how you doing today?" He's like, "I am sensational. How are you?" And I'm telling you, people stop immediately and they're like, "Whoa, I wish I was sensational. How do you, how can I be sensational?" But it's this little moment that completely stops the conversation and creates this little bond between you and them. Because I want you to think about it. The last time someone in business, asked you how you were doing, you probably said, "I'm good. How are you?" "I'm good." "Okay, let's move on."
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Right. And that's it. You didn't create a moment with them, but just using the word sensational creates this moment. And I can't tell you, I've seen it in restaurants. I do it with waiters and waitresses. I'm like, "I'm sensational." And they immediately perk up, brighten up, and they serve me better, right? They treat me better because of it. And we create this little bond right then, as we talk about that. So that's just another little thing, right? It's something they feel, not necessarily something that they consciously notice. And micro moments are really often tip the scale between a sale and a lost opportunity. If you can connect with people through those micro moments, you're going to get the sale, right? Because we've talked about it in other podcasts, but people buy you, they don't buy your product, right? And so micro moments are great ways to connect with them so that they want to buy you and not just focused on the product. They also create loyalty and reduce churn as well. So that's really important. And another thing, and Trevor said this before in our podcast, and it really is true, people remember how you made them feel more than, what you said to them or what you sold them. And that's so important. A lot of times we get so focused on selling the product, right? And we don't focus on focus on the details. And we've talked about this before too. "Oh, I've got this equipment and I use this to clean the carpets and and all these specs and things like that." And that's not what they want. What they want is, or the best way to sell them is what make them feel, right? More than try to overwhelm them with the facts, right?
Yeah,
make them feel that, "Oh, my carpets are going to be so clean and I'm going to be so happy."
Yeah, right? Exactly. And that was the thing is see, Troy and I both, dad, when I say dad, that's Ron. And so for the old school people, they know Ron's the man. And he taught us, he was a public speaker. And then when he taught us to be public speakers. That was one of the things he would say to us. He would say, remember, it doesn't matter what you say. And it's not that he invented the saying, but he just would remind us of it, is that he would say, it doesn't matter what you say. It matters how you made them feel, because that's what they're going to walk away with. If you can make them feel all the emotions, right? That's what they're going to walk away with. And the other thing he would say is, remember, you're speaking to the one. You're just trying to speak to the one. And what that meant was because we do public speaking in many different areas, right? We do motivational speaking, spiritual speaking, and then we do work-related speaking as well. And so he would always say, it doesn't matter, you're speaking to the one. And what he meant by that was, there could be 5,500 people. I think 5,500 people is the largest group I've ever spoken in front of. And he said, in that group, there is going to be people who relate to you, people who hear your message, people who feel your message, right? So he didn't literally mean one. He just meant that you're speaking to the people who are going to hear it. And that's what's most important, right? So that was always really helpful for us. And you can apply that in these micro moments, right? And talking about that is, it's how you make them feel, and you're speaking to the one, meaning the right ones. You, in your marketing and all of these things, are going to be speaking to many, many people, but you're really focused on the right ones. So I'll add that to it. The right ones. We don't care about all the other ones that are the wrong ones, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now, how does this apply to bigger businesses, right? So let's look at some of the ways that some of the bigger businesses out there have created these micro moments. One of them is Amazon and their one-click purchase, right? Think about that. That one-click purchase makes it so easy to buy something that we probably buy more things than we probably need. We don't have to pull out our wallet or our purse and get our credit card and, go through and put all that information in to purchase it. How many times have you bought a product on Amazon that you could have gone to the company's website and bought it on the company's website, and you might have even got a little bit of a savings on the company's website, but you don't do it because you have to go there and you got to get your credit card out and put it all into their website because they don't know you, right? Yep. They don't know you, and they don't have the one click that you can just be like, boom, purchase done. And it's on the way. Or even think about, I've had things where I'm like, man, I really need to get this, but it's like, do I want to leave the house and drive over to Walmart and buy it there? Or do I just click this button on my phone and it'll be here in 2 days? I can wait 2 days, boom, and I buy it, right?
Or same day now. I mean, come on. I'm like, it's crazy. If you're like me, Amazon, I feel bad. I want to shop local. I really do. But realistically, how many businesses are local anymore? It's like, if I'm going to run to the Walmart, I might as well buy from Amazon. If I'm going to run to the AutoZone, I might as well buy from Amazon. I mean, that's not local, right? But it's like, if you're like me, 2 or 3 times a day, if not more, I'm like, oh yeah, I needed that. And I just pull it up on Amazon and I order it. And it's like, oh, I need it. And then later I'm like, oh, I needed that. And I pull it up on Amazon and I order it. Today alone, I have already purchased or made 3 orders on Amazon, separate orders, because it dawned on me, I needed this. And so I'll just go on Amazon, boom, and I have it shipping to me. And most of it same day,
Yep.
So it's like,
exactly. Another one is Apple. Apple, we all know that you pay a lot more for an Apple product, and that's why they have their cool unboxing experience where it's all the boxes are super nice. And it's, as you unbox it, you're like, yeah, this is why I paid more money, because look how great this is. Right. So it's that micro moment of it's almost like you're opening a gift when you open an Apple device, out of the box. So that's another thing. Think about those micro moments. Now, how can you as a business owner leverage micro moments in your business? So here's some practical strategies. Number 1, map your customer journey, right? Identify small touch points that often go unnoticed. So look at your customer journey, look at that experience that your customer has, and then look for those little moments that you can make a difference.
Yep.
Just recently, actually this last month, I switched from one pool cleaner to another pool cleaner. And I got to tell you, right off the bat, super impressed. The new one, the person came out, they cleaned the pool, and within, probably 30 minutes, I had an email in my inbox that had a picture of my pool that they just took of like,
Nice.
okay, here's how your pool looks today. And then it had a report of all of my chemicals for me, right? I never got something like that from my previous pool cleaner. In fact, they never talked to me unless they needed me to pay them to, they wanted to replace some equipment or anything like that. So that little micro moment, that change that just took a little bit of time for them to snap a picture and send me a report, all the difference in the world. I'm like, okay, this is a great experience. Now I'm like, yeah, I know why I'm paying this person more than I paid that last person, because that last person didn't do it.
It really highlights that was the experience we shared, and I've shared in previous ones with like my pest control company, right? And the difference in what I was receiving. And it's so funny because it immediately in my mind, and I want everyone to get this vision in their head, it's like the professional. You've just experienced the professional pool guy, right? Comes, like, I can imagine him, shows up in a professional looking vehicle, it's wrapped, gets out, probably has a white shirt on, that has their logo on it. They go back there with their clean, nice tools, and they're doing their job and everything, right? And then it makes me think of the person that you were dealing with, and it's Bubba. Bubba shows up in his dirty truck and it's beat up, and he's big fat boy, and he's got food all covered on him from eating lunch in his truck while he's driving and hitting the bumps, and he's got janky, crappy tools. Equipment. Like, that is literally the vision that just went through my head. I don't know if everybody else is like me, but you're telling the story of, or I guess you're telling the experience, and there's a whole story playing in my mind of the difference between these. And maybe it's just the marketers in us, but if you weren't envisioning that story, hopefully you enjoyed that story, because that's what I saw up here.
No, it's true. It's crazy. The most communication I got from the previous company was when I messaged them to cancel. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom, 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 message. Like, I had more communication in 10 minutes with them than I did the previous year, because I was canceling my service with them.
And you probably don't even know his name. So he is forever now going to be referred to as Bubba.
Yeah.
Bubba the pool guy.
Yep. So look for those, look at those small touch points and how you can improve them, right? Create those micro moments. Train your team to do this. Empower your employees to create positive micro moments, meaning like smile when you talk to people, greet them, and have a greeting. Think about Chick-fil-A. Whenever you say thank you to them, what do they say? It's my pleasure.
My pleasure.
Right?
Yes.
That is the answer you're always going to get from them. Because they're trained, right? Train them to do follow-ups, train them to communicate and communicate well with people. Now, the other thing you can do is use technology wisely, meaning that chatbots are a great way to create that micro moment. Give people the information on your website immediately. Give them the way to communicate with you. Personalized emails is another great way to do it. Getting those, personalizing those emails to people as you're communicating with them. Reminders, that's another great micro moment. There's so many businesses out there that don't send out reminders. You set an appointment and then you don't hear from them, and then you hope they show up, and they set an appointment like, I'll be there between 8 a.m. and noon. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
How hard is it to have one of your team members, when they leave the previous job and they're headed to the next job, shoot a quick text message that says, I'm on my way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a great micro moment. And then the final thing is that consistency really matters, right? So small actions done consistently compound into trust built with your clients. And that's how you're going to get those long-term clients that are going to stay with you forever, because you are consistently doing those things. So, I want you to ask yourself, where can I add a 1% improvement that will delight my customers, right? These don't have to be huge things, but where can I just be 1% better that's going to stand out with my customers?
Yep.
All right, Trevor, that's all I've got.
Awesome.
Anything you want to add?
I'll do a little recap. So just to kind of recap the whole thing, right? There was a lot of good information in there. You better listen to this more than once. I'm telling you, this is a good one. And if you'll implement it, you're going to have a phenomenal business. Okay. So micro moments are small, silent, but powerful drivers of loyalty and growth. This is how you make a difference in your business. This is how you create the loyalty. Okay. This is how you build that referral business, because people are going to fall in love with you and your employees and the company. And when they do, they will share. So this week, homework. What I want you guys to do, I want you to find 2 to 3, okay? 2 to 3 micro moments in your customer's journey. So look at your customer's journey, right? The journey of your customer with your business from start to finish, right? Or hopefully start to infinity. No finish, maybe no finish, right? Especially if it's an ongoing service. Look at that and then find 2 to 3 areas where you can add micro moments into that. And if you're going, oh, well, what micro moments would I, once you look at your journey, what micro moments? Re-listen to the podcast. Okay, people, I'm not going to give it to you. It's in there. Troy gave it to you. So go back and listen. All right, everybody. Well, we love you. We appreciate you. We are so grateful for you spending your Tuesday mornings with us. We really do appreciate that. We would love for you to make in the comments, post in the comments on YouTube or Instagram, social media, anywhere. I think you can even comment in like Spotify and all of those places now. So make your comment. Let us know. Share your micro moment that you're going to be implementing into your business, or just share a micro moment that stood out to you from this episode. All right, everybody. Well, we sure do love and appreciate you, like I already said, and we will catch you on the next episode of So Tell Us Time.